Hey everyone, welcome to ELA Hub Club, where Miss Parker is going to step you through an easy breakdown and understanding how to start a 5-paragraph essay. Now, I know that this sounds daunting when a teacher presents an essay writing topic to you, but sometimes it's easier to understand writing when you chunk down the information. So, as you see here, what it means by 5-paragraph essay is talking about your introduction, your 3 supporting body paragraphs, in the conclusion. That makes 5 paragraphs. Now, in your introduction, you want a thesis statement. This thesis statement is going to be centered around an idea that you are interested in. For instance, let's think of space. Okay, space. What about space can we narrow down? Well, there's lots of stars, nebulas, and etc. Well, there's so much to talk about space, so let's pick a specific nebula. Let's pick the Crab Nebula, which has been kind of on a hot topic lately. So, the Crab Nebula. What about the Crab Nebula can we pull out 3 topics to talk about that would support the main idea about space in the Crab Nebula? Well, some ideas that we can think of, for example, is what gases are made up of this nebula. That's interesting. How far away is this nebula? And what recent news has been found on this nebula? So our main idea is the Crab Nebula, and 3 supporting ideas about the Crab Nebula are these 3 topics here. Each one has their own paragraph. And in my conclusion, basically I like to say this ties everything into a bow or a cherry on top. You want to refer back to your thesis and your 3 main topics. You want to leave your audience with an impact, and you really want to think about, why do your words matter? Who would want to read that, and why does it matter? Alright, so this round of video we're going to focus on ELA formatting. ELA formatting is an extremely important basic skill to remember for all your writing up until advanced college classes where you'll be writing APA. However, we're focusing on ELA now, and let's start getting this concept ingrained. So obviously I have an example here of an old essay I wrote from a while ago. We're using this as an example to use it on ELA formatting. Number 1 is that we want to change the font on this paper and the size. So Times New Roman and size 12. What you can do is you can hit Control A, which selects the entire document. Up here we can see that it's Arial. We want to drop that and go to Times New Roman and obviously to point 12. Now, right here, this is called our ELA heading. It kind of describes what this paper is about. Now, ELA headings start with your name, your instructor's name, the course, and the date. Now, you're writing on a Word document here with 1-inch margins and your basic standard 8.5 by 11-inch paper. My name is Miss Parker. I used to put Professor Robert Mayer. However, this may have been a request from the professor himself. Normally, I would just probably put Professor Mayer. This was an English 258 course. And the proper way to write this date would be writing out the month. If it's a single digit, make sure there's a 0 in front, and the year. Now, it requires 2 spaces between the heading and the title. This obviously is the title. Now, with the title, we need to make sure it's centered. The title does not need to be underlined, bolded, italicized, none of that. Just make sure that your title fits the ELA formatting and is centered. Moving on to your paragraphs. You want to make sure that there's a space in between. Now, going through this, you can obviously see that there's some spelling issues and that the paragraphs are kind of all over the place. Right? What is going on here? So let's fix this. Each paragraph needs an indent, and by indenting, you just tab once. This will auto set your tab. This one has been already completed, so has this one. We need to tab this paragraph. And whoa, what is going on with this paragraph? It looks like this paragraph had been tabbed over too many times. Let's align that. This one looks okay. All right, now back to the top. One thing you want to remember with ELA headings is that you need to put on your number heading. And one way to do that is to double click the top of your paper. But I'm going to continue this into a next video so we can continue on from there. Continuing where we left off, we were talking about headers. So when you double click up in the top of your page, it should automatically pop up your header and footer tab, and you are instantly into your header. Now you want to come up here under page number, top of page, and you want to do plain number 3. This will populate a page number, and you want to put your last name with a space. Something like that. You can triple click out of the header, which will pull you out, and this will automatically populate your header pages. Now, one thing I did notice that I made a mistake with last time was that I did not change the font in here, which is really important too. You want to change your font to reflect the rest of your page. That's really important to remember because I did not. So I'm sharing that knowledge with you here. Now triple clicking out. Now, the next thing we want to talk about is in-text citations. If you'd like to do your spell check before in-text citations, that's totally okay too. You can hit review and you can hit spelling and grammar. This will pull up all of the editor and grammar issues that it's catching here. Also, these blue lines can give you a good indication that there is some proper grammar mistakes that are happening, and you can quickly go through and just fix them out, which we're not going to do. The editor score says it's 87, but that's okay. This was a very long ago written essay, which I could sit here and edit, but that's not what we're focusing on. We are focusing on ELA formatting. Now, there are some things that I did want to say is that after periods, you only need to put one space. Only one space after periods. There's no need for 2 or 3 spaces. So that's something to remember and keep in mind. No more than one space. In-text citations, we'll continue that in the next video. Going through this essay, you can see that I have a lot of in-text citations. In-text citations are basically when you are borrowing words from another one's work. You never want to put another one's work in your work and claim credit for it, meaning you're saying that that was my idea. It is really important when you're writing that you give credit where it's due. I believe that if you have a skill or a trade that you are proud of and someone claims responsibility for it, I think you would be upset too. Think of it that way. So the proper way to tell someone that you have borrowed their work, there's a couple ways to do this. However, we'll focus on the way that is represented in here. For instance, such as this sentence here, it is said by Norton on Anthology, comma, quotation start. He proposed radically unsettling ideas about human nature, justice, and progress that disrupted the dominant Enlightenment thinking of the moment and helped to spark the Romantic movement. And as you can notice here, there is no period. You do not want a period inside of your quotation. What you want to do is you want to quote the page of where you found this and the resource. Now, let's say that I got rid of this and said, "It is said, he proposed." Well, who said? What you could do instead is put the Norton anthology into your citation and your page where you found it. So I just showed you an example of 2 different ways you could do in-text citations. My suggestion is that you go to Puru Owl website, which I will link, and definitely follow guidelines if you want to discover more ways of doing in-text citations. Now, when you are citing people's work, you have to include a works cited. And a works cited kind of looks like something like this, and we will move on to that in the next video. First and foremost, when you're working in a works cited, you want to ensure that the works cited is started on an entirely new page. For example, if this works cited was a part of this paragraph that isn't proper, you'd have to ensure that the works cited starts on a new page. Now, the title here, works cited is fine. It doesn't need to be bolded, it doesn't need to be italicized or underlined, just as your title above. This works just fine. Now, these are all citations that I used within this essay. However, let's focus on something right away. Your works cited needs to be alphabetized. The alphabet does not start with a P. So let's fix that. CFJP. It would go there. Now, this works cited obviously has an issue as well. It does not need to be bolded. No works cited ever needs to be bolded. The other thing I'm noticing is that some of the works cited are not aligned properly. A proper works cited alignment looks something like this. You want to go to your second line and you want to indent it. Now, if the first line goes with it, that's fine. You can drag it back to the 1-inch margin. This is a proper citation or works cited layout. Let's do this one, for example. This one goes over our 1-inch margin. Let's bring it back to our 1-inch margin. Let's drag the bottom in. That is a proper way to set up a works cited. This is just showing you the ELA formatting of a works cited, not how to set up the actual works cited citation itself. I am simply showing you ELA formatting of a works cited. This is how it's properly laid out. The last step to our formatting for ELA is to ensure you have your double spacing. Control A for control all. Home. You want to go to this line and paragraph spacing. You want to do 2.0. Go there again and then remove space after paragraph. It is important to do the double space so it becomes easier for your instructor to put notes and connotations and readability. So those are just a few basic things of ELA formatting and 5-paragraph essay setup. I hope this was helpful to you, and you can definitely replay through these videos as much as you need, pause, stop, speed up. There's even captions if you need to be in a quiet area. These videos are for you to use throughout your essay building process. Thanks for watching.